Hi there, friends. Heather here from Heather's Hikes and Adventures. And today I want to talk to you about something that I think is super important and that I actually see a ton of questions about online. And that is whether it's really worth the money of having one of those GPS emergency devices. There's so many different kinds, there's so many different brands, there's so many different options, but I mean, none of them are cheap, let's be honest. So it is a significant investment, and a lot of people ask, is it worth it? And not to mention are just a little confused as to how it works. Do you need a plan? Don't you need a plan? Can you just use it in an emergency? Can you use it to text, friends, loved ones, etc.? And, the answer to all of that is yes. It totally depends on what you personally choose and what is the best fit for your personal scenario. For me, personally, I hike alone all the time. I travel alone all the time. And a lot of those times it's in areas that maybe don't have the most reliable cell service or reception, especially in campgrounds. I'm sure a lot of you are aware, if you've camped before, that campgrounds do not have the most reliable cell service at all times. So the very first time that it really became kind of a prevalent thought for me was when I was going to be going to the Smokies by myself, because I already knew I was going to be in the mountains, the cell service was going to be non-existent when I was inside the park, and that I was going to be doing a lot of hiking and driving around. And what would I do if I broke down in the middle of nowhere, if I, God forbid, fell or got injured or attacked by a bear on a hike or something like that? What would I do if I couldn't call for help and if I was by myself? That's a genuine, legitimate fear. That's not an irrational concern. That's something that we have to think about. So it became a priority to me to make sure that as part of my safety kit, I had a GPS device. The one that I chose was the Garmin In-Reach Mini, and that's what we're going to talk about today. My experience with that, how it works, what the different options are with this particular device available to you, and I'm also going to do an actual demonstration. I personally use it with my phone. It's so much easier. You can technically text and type stuff kind of like how the old school pagers used to work, if you're old, like me, and used to use the little pagers where you had to send messages that way. Kind of like that. So it takes forever. But if you download the app, which is Earthmate, is the one that works with Garmin. And there's a lot of reasons why I ultimately ended up on Garmin In-Reach Mini versus a lot of the other competitors. I'm not going to try to convince you of those reasons because I put a lot of research and thought into it. And, I would encourage you to do the same. I'm just going to share my experiences with Garmin. So, I love the fact that with this little tiny one, it has basically all the functionality of the big one. I knew I wasn't going to be using it as much for the weather functions or for the mapping functions because I already have those things, and I already make it a point to download those areas so that if I don't have cell service, I'll have a map of the area, whether I'm hiking or driving in that area, and I've kind of talked about that before. So my main purpose and concern with wanting a device like this was strictly for emergencies, being able to get help if I needed to and couldn't otherwise call or ask for help, didn't have anybody with me, whatever the case may be, Or if I didn't have cell service and needed to communicate with somebody, like if I wanted to check in with my parents, text friends, family, anything like that, make sure my kids are okay, check in and make sure everything's good at home base, and I don't have cell service, it's easy to say, oh, well, part of the reason you go camping is to kind of disconnect and get away from the real world. Well, that's not reality. With my health issues, especially right now, and with being a mother and having kids, having family in general and responsibilities and concerns at home base, I need to have that connection at times. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Without further ado, there's already been quite a bit of ado. I've been rambling for quite a bit of time now. We are going to talk about how I use these two things to make sure that if I'm ever in a life or death situation, or if I just need to touch base with a loved one and have that connection when my phone otherwise isn't working, how I do that. So let's get into that right now. So now the app that you're going to want to download on your phone, if you have the Garmin, and it's going to be different for whatever device you choose. For instance, Zoleo is one that I can think of off the top of my head. Anyways, they all work with different satellite companies and apps. Earthmate is the one that works with Garmin, so I have that one programmed on my phone. And you can see it pulls up a map of where you are. And then it also has the messaging feature. So if you want to send a new message, I shouldn't have done that. If you want to send a new message, you see this little plus sign here. It actually links right to your phone's contact list. So that's the other feature that I love about it. You don't have to remember phone numbers on the actual device itself. You don't have to, program any numbers in ahead of time. Although you do get I think it depends on which program or which membership you end up getting, because you do have to have some type of why am I blanking out on the word? Subscription. You don't want to know how many seconds later it is now before it took me to remember that word. Oh, the brain fog is real. So anyways, it depends on which subscription you have, but it does. Mine comes with unlimited presets, like up to, I think I can do 3 or 4 different preset messages, and I can send those unlimited number of times. Other than that, I personally get 10 text messages a month, and then if I go over that, I just have to pay per text message. But I'll kind of go into that part later. My point is most of these do require a subscription, and depending on which subscription you have will determine what features comes with yours. I get the weather and mapping features with mine automatically, but to be honest, I don't know how they work still because I haven't used those. I am mainly concerned with, sorry, I didn't mean to flick you guys off there, the SOS feature and the messaging feature. So if I ever do need to use the SOS feature, you actually have to clip it off like that, and you can see it took some, it doesn't just flop open on its own, and then you have to really push it, and then it'll ask you to confirm and that. So it's not like it's super easy to send out the bat signal. You do have to take the step to do it, but it is still very fast and convenient. So there is that feature. And then aside from that, you can just go through the different options on the menu this way. It's got an OK, a back button. That's it. Easy peasy. comes with this handy dandy carabiner. I keep it clipped on my hiking backpack or my fanny pack or my day pack, you know, whatever I'm gonna have on me. I keep it on me. You get it. So I download the Earthmate app and automatically have access to my phone's contact list. So I am going to hop outside now, and we are going to do a little demonstration with my mom on how that works. Okay, I'm going to do a demonstration here in real time so that you can see how it works. And you can see it's 4:11 here on the device. I'm going to take my phone where it says new message, opening the app, which is the Earthmate app. I'm doing this part off camera so you don't see her number. Then you can see I've selected my mom from my contact list. Now I'm just going to simply use my phone to send a message to let her know just got to camp and enjoying my view. Wanted to check in. Okay, you can see I'm just gonna hit send. And then you can see here on the device, I think you can see, I don't know if it's focusing or not, the little arrow that says it's sending. Hopefully it doesn't take a long time here now that I'm filming. Normally it's very fast. I really think that my equipment likes to make a liar out of me. When I just did a test run, it was instantaneous. Alright, well you can see the timestamp. So rather than sitting here listening to the kingfishers, I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, and then I'll let you see when the message comes in, since it's taking a long time. Okay, you can see it's 4:15 now, and it just beeped that it's sent. So now we're going to see how long it takes to get a response back. Cover up her number here so you can see the message is there on my screen. I know this is kind of boring for you guys, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to stop it because I'm going to go ahead and just hit stop, and then you can see the time on here when the message comes through. I wanted you to hear what the beep sounds like, but I also don't want you to be bored to tears. I'm going to show you what the plans themselves look like here in just a moment. I'm going to show on the computer. I'll go ahead and pull up the Garmin site to show you what the different options are as far as the different plans and how much they cost and what the different options are in terms of messaging and what all it includes. Uh-oh, I just felt a couple of raindrops. I hope I don't start to get rained on while I'm doing this. That might explain why it's taking a little bit longer than normal because of the rain shower here, it figures. you are able to send messages with the device itself, but it's very small, and it's kind of like the old pagers, like way back in the day. So, oh, there we go. Got an answer. And I don't want you to, I'm trying to be sneaky here. But as you can see, it comes right back up on my phone. So just a couple of minutes later, got the response, got it, enjoy. And now she knows I'm safe, I've checked in, and I can go back to relaxing. Okay, so as you can see, all I've done here is literally just go to Garmin.com to go to their In-Reach consumer subscription plans for their Garmin devices. It tells you this is going to be your price per month with a 12-month commitment. You're going to choose the annual plan. If you don't want to commit to using it every single month, and say you only know, or say you know you're only going to be traveling 6 weeks out of the whole year, so you only need it for like a 2-month period, you can do this other option, which is the monthly or the freedom plan. And as you can see, it is more expensive for the same plan. However, you're not committed to using it every single month. So, you're only paying for those 2 months versus for a year of use. So there are definite, pros and cons to each. It's going to depend on your individual scenario or situation. But as you can see, there are different options. There's this just the safety option, and then there's the recreation option. There's, it gives you a great comparison. And the freedom plan is going to be the monthly option. This is going to be the annual contract. And so it gives you a good comparison of what the pros and cons are. And then whichever plan you're wanting to compare, this gives you a great breakdown of the different plans here. So if you just choose the safety one, you're only going to, it only comes with 10 messages. However, you are able to pay extra per message if you go over that. If you want the recreation one, you're going to be using it for a lot of messaging, then you might want that one because it'll be cheaper overall, and it comes with 40 before you have to start paying extra per. These check-in messages, those can be preset messages on your device that you set ahead of time. Same thing with the SOS, obviously. It's not going to limit how many times you can use that feature. You can use it for weather and mapping, location. You can do where it does little tracking points for you so that if you're lost, they can find where you were at each point, and then select whether you want it at every 2 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. So my only purpose in using it is to be able to do text messaging if and when I need to, and obviously only if and when I need to, because otherwise I would just be using my phone. And then, for that SOS feature. So that's why I went with the mini rather than the full-sized. If I was going to be using the mapping and the weather, then I would, most likely go for the full-size option, of course. Here, let me give you something to look at while I'm blabbing. And like I say, there you have it, folks. I hope that you found this video informative. If you did, I don't know if you saw my recent community post, but I finally activated my super thanks button down below, like where the like and the subscribe and the comments and all of that is, the share, all those things that you are free to do anytime you want. So if you do want to say thank you and support the channel and future content like this, and if you ever do find this video or any other video particularly helpful and want to say thank you, you are able to do that now. I appreciate you watching regardless, as always. And if you're not already subscribed and you do find content like this helpful, or if you're interested in hiking reviews or vlogs of all of the wonderful places I go to inside my minivan camper, then you might want to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell so that you don't miss future videos like this. But other than that, I just want to thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.